Okay. Welcome to What's Niggling Me. I'm waiting to do my COVID-19 and Fauci, Bill Gates episode with my brother. He'll be back from Georgia this weekend. And Fauci, I will not stop. Fauci's daughters are gonna know that this was an evil fucking human being. Bill Gates' daughter already knows that he's an evil fucking human being, and that's why people don't like him. Chelsea Clinton knows. Everyone fucking hates her parents. Chelsea Clinton, if this ever gets to you, you ever wonder why JFK Jr. somehow crashed his plane and your mom became Secretary of State and he was going to be Secretary of State? Here's a little snippet of Anthony Fauci. The patent for AZT was patented in AZT was patented in 1985, 1986. Under Fauci, Reagan passes the vaccines have immunity, you can't sue them in civil court. And 1987, people started dying from AZT because it was too toxic for cancer patients. But Fauci thought, hey, let's repurpose this, squash the other drugs that are cheaper, that don't have a patent, like how ivermectin, how they squashed that, and they pushed garbage shots that were supposed to stop the spread, be safe and effective. You can go on, you're never going to find this on Google because Google suppresses it. Google owns YouTube and they suppress this website. It's harder to find. You should go to DuckDuckGo and type in, how bad is my batch? And if you have a little receipt thing from getting any fucking shots, or whatever they give you, the COVID, whatever card, fucking, after you got your shots, you can go on there, you can type in your batch number, and you can see all the side effects that people had from it. They don't tell you that on the fucking news, do they? So, I was speaking with my aunt the past couple days, and I was weary of having any discussions about my thoughts because I know they're not popular, especially among older generations. My aunt is 19 years older than my mom, and so she was born in 1943. Anthony Fauci was born in 1940. And she sent me this message, and it was so funny. It made me laugh. Let me read you some of this. It is fucking hilarious. Because I went to school in near where she lived. Where I went to college there. And you get tons of snow there. So I had mentioned, hey, I'm getting a ton of snow here. Reminds me of them. And then she fucking goes in. And I'm like, damn. with the snow. Crazy days with kids missing a lot of school. My kids hardly missed any, but we are raising a generation of soft individuals. Not sure how they will make it in the real world. Some stuff about me and my parents, and then okay, so she's pumped about the hockey game. It's today now, Thursday, Canada versus the Americans. Okay, listen to this. I still can't believe he was elected again. He doesn't mention his name, but I know who she means. I still can't believe he was elected again because he was so ill-equipped to be president the first time. But I realized that 50% of the U.S. read at a grade 5 level and 1% are grade 3 level, so no critical thinking here. We spent 15 winters in the States, so I can say it's not a smart society, their news. This is my aunt's opinion, not mine. So I can say it's not a smart society. Their news is just limited to US and they get it from media only. Now, I will agree, speaking to people in the United States, they don't have, and here in Canada, they don't have it either. So, like, she's aware because of her background. I think of my uncle, possibly, and her son. They have a wider perspective on the world and cultures than people that have just stayed in their town for their whole lives. What was that? So I've spoken to Americans, they don't know anything about Canada. Anything. It's pretty insane. But I also don't think a ton of Canadians know about the States. I do. I admired the States growing up. It's where the best athletics are. Kind of. For a lot of the things I liked. Not Olympic weightlifting. Not certain things. Soccer. But I saw that young, if you made it to America, you made it. I was jealous of people with dual citizenships that they had a parent that was born over there, so they got dual citizenships, like Brett Hall. I don't know. That's just off the top of my head. I remember because my mom knew him. Back to my aunt. He will destroy the country, and I've been around since 1943, and let me tell you, there has never been such a corrupt man at the top as what they have now. There's been no mainstream news about the Biden crime family, or she would know. Or she's just mad. She didn't like Donald Trump. I get it. But to ignore George Bush, who was at the helm of millions of fucking people dying. I don't think Trump in 4 years and a few months has totaled the amount of people Barack Obama and George Bush killed. The authorized drone strikes and authorized fucking carpet bombing of the Middle East. Those guys were going crazy. And their cousins, Obama and Bush. On Obama's mom's side. Barry Soetoro. Or Barack Hussein Obama. Oh, here we go. Oh, geez, see? She's corrupted by our media of Trump. Like a lot of other Canadians, they're fucking dumb. Either people are blind, but we all watched January 6th. See, she's not aware that there was 20-something FBI informants. She wasn't aware. And you can't justify any of that in a democracy. The person that I mentioned, Susan Rosenberg and the Weather Underground blowing a hole in the fucking Capitol, and was pardoned by Clinton. That guy, the guy that, after I put that on his post, he fucking told me I need therapy and blocked me so I couldn't respond to him. He was just jealous that both sides did that. And they didn't blow a hole in the fucking Capitol like Susan Rosenberg did. She says she's glad she's Canadian. Whether there was a Democrat or Republican in power, never had such a degenerate in highest office of the land. Boggles my mind, and I am not serious supporting liberal or conservative. She told her son the Chinese will swat him down. Actually, we as a country do not need the U.S. See, she's just unaware of our country's decline over here. She's unaware. So, my initial message back after time, it took me, how was I going to respond to this? Because how was I going to respond to this? My aunt is old. No offense to her. It's the same thing with my mom. Do I really want to get into it? Do I really want to try and explain the world to them? Because they had encyclopedias and a fucking public library. They didn't have any resources. They're not aware the whole time they were alive of the government corruption. We have the resources now, and I've done the research. I've been fucking researching back to the last quarter of the 1800s. That's where life gets interesting here in North America. It's when the industrial age and a few prominent people start developing the society we have now. And I told her this. I've had a hard time trying to respond to your messages. I don't use social media much anymore because I have too much to say for text. I love long-form conversations, and that's why I'm here now. And I'm not on fucking Instagram anymore. Facebook, fucking, it's a waste of my time. And so then I sent her, I didn't intend to do it. I had thought about this beforehand, and I was like, I gotta just try and keep it short and sweet. And this is what my message looks like. Okay? Because I couldn't stop. I can't do text. I have too much in my brain. Shall I read some of it? I told her, I tried to baby my way in, and then I just got to type it. I appreciate your points of view. I'd love to hear different people's perspectives. It's honest. I've done a lot of research into the past to try and understand where we are today and where we're going. I wanted to know why things are the way they are. I watch a lot of people I know get addicted to prescription drugs that were marketed as non-addictive. Personally, and the professional athletes I grew up watching. Then I will leave this person's name out, but then I watched Get Sick, and it didn't seem like any urgency was there to figure out why it happened. It was come see us quarterly to see if these are diminishing, if these blood clots are diminishing, destroying her quality of life. I was fucking pissed. I worked at the college for years, and I saw what you mentioned. Raising the generation of pussies, you know what I mean? It's incredible what's been done to our society. If you hurt someone's feelings, you're a bigot. I remember years ago, initially thinking my parents my age, were the problem for the soft kids coming up. And then I realized it's a bigger play than that. I'm all for equality. I just think movements were hijacked. The civil rights movement was hijacked, and they convinced women they don't need a man, and because you won't get all those benefits. They give you welfare and they give you child benefits if the man's not in the house. If you have the man of that child in the house, then you won't get all those benefits. So there's incentives to keep the man out of the house. It's only been fucking 3 generations, and they were successful. If you look now, look how many fucking single parents there are. Look how many fucking divorces, and like it's an embarrassment. What they've done in order for profit. But I put, not like the civil rights movement, I put like feminism. Yeah, women should have equal pay, but having girls believe they don't need a man to be successful has led to less marriage and children. We're only raising the population number because of immigration. Schools spend more time with kids than parents. What ideologies are they being taught today? There's 100 genders. Your feelings matter more than your facts, or your feelings matter more than facts. You can identify as whatever you want, and if I don't accept it, I'm a bigot. It's wild that I'm writing this shit to my 81-year-old fucking aunt. I didn't want to. Okay, this is whatever. I'll fucking be transparent and read it. 5 people are gonna fucking maybe watch this anyways. This is a pretty interesting fucking paragraph. Whatever. Fuck. I got papers. That was niggling me. But they cost $4 for 50 fucking 1 1/4 papers. Okay. Can't believe I'm gonna read this. Whatever. I wanted a wife and kids since before you told me, at least you're not locked in for life. When I had the breakup with Krista, I've always remembered that wasn't the person to be with. I've always wanted the family though, and told my mom for a long time, I don't feel like I fit in this culture. Fucking a long time ago, when I was in college, I was dating this girl, and it was a pretty fucking brutal breakup. And my aunt, it was 8 hours away from where I grew up, and my aunt lived close to there. And I was feeling like shit. And I remember to this day, my aunt saying that to me, at least you're not locked in for life. And I hadn't thought of that. And even back then, I wanted a wife and kids. And I still fucking got them. But she told me that, my aunt, a long fucking time ago. It was real. It was blunt. That's what I do and did like about my aunt when I did live there and I spoke to her. She was very straightforward and blunt, and I appreciated that. She's not a stupid woman. She's been around. Okay, so that's probably the most personal part of this message, I imagine. I go on to say, oh, I just lost my message. What the fuck happened? She's the one who sent me a pretty long message to begin with, right? I read it. I go on. They've been trying to push the MAID program. You can look it up, all capitals, MAID, program to allow people with depression to kill themselves. It's supposed to be for, like, if you got a terminal illness and stuff like that, you know what I mean? If, I get it. If you got fucking stage 4 cancer, like, it sucks, but I 100% get if you want to not go through the pain. But our government has already tried, and they're going to try again to pass this bill that if you have depression, you can go to the government and they'll kill you. Social media is horrible for kids. Sure, we're kind of all realizing that. Allowing that is disgusting to me. For some reason, we have people in government trying to push this bill forward. You will never see that on the news, though. Just like no minimum. This is crazy. I said this to my aunt, and I thought, damn, I don't know how much she knows. You will never see that in the news, though. Just like no minimum age for giving your child hormones and cutting their breasts off here in Canada. Told my 81-year-old aunt that. As wild as those things are, to me, the bigger issue than the culture wars is corporate and lobbying influence. That's why I had to go back into the 1800s to see how we got here. I threw this one in here because I felt like she might understand the reference. She's not this old, but I watched Margaret Sanger interviews with Mike Wallace, sponsored by Philip Morris, the cigarette fucking company, while she pushed back. You got to watch it. Margaret Sanger, Mike Wallace. Incredible interview. I understand the deception a lot better than most, and I know it's because people don't have time to do the research. They're consumed with the society that's been created. I was called a sand nigger months after 9/11. I still remember that. It was because hockey was a few months later. Well, hockey was like coming right up, but it was a few months later, I remember, in Leamington. And this kid on my hockey team, I'm in grade 8, and this kid on my hockey team calls me a sand nigger, and I didn't even know what it was at that point. Now we're far removed from then. We found out that his dad used to beat the shit out of him when he was a kid. He was an angry fucking kid. I don't fucking know. I get it, like that's real shit, but yeah. Yeah, I tell her. I was called a sand nigger months after 9/11 by a guy on my hockey team. I didn't know what it was. The hate for all the brown people is still here today because of it. They, just like when they said Chinese people, like COVID was from a wet market, making it seem like Chinese people were dirty, unclean people. That seemed more racist than it came from the Wuhan lab funded by the United States. So then I started getting once I thought of that, I got fucking pretty frustrated. And I put the guy who waged war on millions of innocent Iraqis because he said they had weapons of mass destruction was paraded around for the Democrats during the last election with his daughter. It's as close as I got to the Americans' election. I was like, during the last election with his daughter, warmongers for democracy, crying face. The 19 people who flew those planes were from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Yemen. No weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and bin Laden and the guy they have in Guantanamo still were in Pakistan. There's too many lies and deceit from the people in power for profit to trust their intentions. I know I live in the best time in history if you're aware of the deception. Ever heard of Ron Paul? I said to her. Sorry for the lengthy message. Extremely tough to convey my thoughts through text. I love you and hope you enjoy the hockey game tonight. I know Mom won't be swearing at the TV. And I sent that thing off, and I was real unsure about the response I was going to get. Real unsure about that response. And she responded. You know what she said? That was such a good text. You have the family rebel spirit. My 81-year-old aunt said to me, fuck these papers. Jesus fucking Christ, my brother would laugh at me for this joint I'm about to roll. Oh my God, what a disaster this joint is. Holy fuck, I rolled a bad joint. I need to fucking cherish every fucking paper though. It costs so much fucking money. It used to be $1 or something. Inflation, right? It's because our fucking dollar's worth dick all. You ever notice that TVs are the only thing in our lives that I can think of that actually got cheaper? You know anything else that ever got any cheaper over the years? I don't think so, except for TVs. Where they can, that's the number one device for propaganda, right? Everybody should have a TV. Kind of like that Fahrenheit, I don't know, because of the movie, but I mean the book, whatever that one is. With, Michael Jordan played the guy in a movie. But my aunt, interesting, because then she sent me this great message after I was super nervous about sending that one. Tells me I got the family rebel spirit. She said, I was raised during segregation years and saw it still in your face in the US every winter. She was going to Florida every year. But think about it, we are still shooting people and bombing and killing societies because they are different. I have learned one hard thing in life, and that is you cannot judge or totally understand someone unless you've walked in their shoes. I have some knowledge of Rand Paul's career. I don't know if she means Rand or Ron. But, Rand is Ron's son, and I think he's awesome. I have some knowledge of Rand Paul's career and philosophy about healthcare in the US. He seems to be too radical for my thinking, but there is so much greed in the country and wanting to be instantly cured with a bullet pill that people want instant attention and success. So now we have a pill for everything. Ain't that the realest shit, eh? Some really awesome results with disease that were fatal when I was growing up, but thank God my parents were not anti-taxes or would not have the life I've lived. So she's gonna say coming up here, actually, I haven't replied back to her. I'm going to though. She sent me this message this morning. And I thought when I read this part, what I said at the beginning of this video is pretty much my response. I don't trust the government because in one of my other episodes, I went over what Johnson & Johnson was up to, right? Injecting prisoners with asbestos. Putting shit on their arm, covering it with a gauze and seeing what happened. They saw the reason for prevention, which has made a huge difference in prevention of polio. Kids I went to school with died of that, and whooping cough and measles. So a lot of good with research. See, I know, as I read this portion, I know the RFK propaganda that's out there. I watched. I knew he wasn't going to be the president, even I wanted him to be the president. I knew it wasn't going to be possible because the powers are too strong, have too much control, and just fucking smear the guy. Nasty fucking people. Even though he wrote a book all about Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates and didn't get any lawsuits. Because it's fucking facts. I know what you did, Anthony Fauci. This was refreshing, okay? So a lot of good with research. Unfortunately, the government didn't give a better read on COVID vaccine as it cannot cure an airborne virus. Just keep you from dying. They were working on that for 17 years since SARS struck Ontario. Every country was caught without anything to fight it, so when COVID struck, they could gather all research in different countries to find something to help. Never cure. That's what people didn't get. Too much misinformation. Why do I know this? Because I have a daughter who is a nurse. Viruses mutate. That's why we can't really cure all forms of cancer. It mutates just when they kill one cell. It finds another place to grow in another part of the body. I'll just finish my coffee. Hope you have a good day. Oh, then she sent me. Forgot to say that the economics of countries is based on a war going on somewhere in the world, so that it benefits powerful countries to interfere in smaller countries if it will benefit their bottom line. During the Gulf War, the vice president of our neighboring country owned one of the biggest companies supplier of arms for guns and war machines. I would think that would be conflict of interest. Same thing is going on with the two donkeys making decisions in the White House today. Control the internet, the media, and therefore control the brainwashing of society. Worked for him in the 1940s, and people have not changed. My aunt's funny at 81 years old. She can hate Elon and Trump all she wants, but she's not dumb to know, she's not unaware of the corruption for decades and decades and decades and decades of it. Her son does the most admirable job. My cousin hunts for Epsteins. Here in Canada, my cousin hunts for Epsteins. That job is probably brutal. It's like a firefighter when you go in and you see people that commit suicides. He's fucking finding people that got the fucking child porn. My cousin. It's a crazy division to be in the OPP. It's a crazy division to be finding fucking those child predators. And we got a lot of them. It's just like when I asked my mom, and I asked another older guy, 67, what was, growing up, what was the feeling of like satanic occult stuff? And both of them, who grew up 8 hours difference here in Canada, both my mom and this guy said, we knew about it, but we didn't think that kind of stuff went on around here. Like that kind of stuff happened in the States. Which is far from true. It was going on right here. The amount of child predators is astronomical. I don't know the number here in Canada, but I know it's got to be a good amount of children that go missing every year. Hundreds of thousands in the United States go missing every year. This might sound insane, but there's look up human trafficking around the world. It makes more money than drugs. That much money. Because partially, it's gonna sound crazy, and it might get my video removed. I'll be frustrated if it gets my video removed. But people are human trafficking organs. I don't know what that's gonna get me under my video, but it's the fucking truth. Now, that's harder to do here. You can go get it overseas. I'm not going to say what country, because you're not going to fucking call me a racist or anything like that, because of where it happens a lot. Do your own research. Organs. And yeah, there's movies, and you'll think, that's just a movie. Not no Human Centipede, even though maybe there's some sick fucks doing that shit. But like people that wake up and they're missing a kidney. But then, people, who knows? Eventually, I won't even be on YouTube probably. Something will have me not be allowed to be on here, but it's just real life. Real life's way more interesting than the fake shit that they fucking put on TV. It's way more interesting if you want to look up the stuff that's going on in the world. Human trafficking for organs is a crazy motherfucking thing. That's why, not me, the most far right extreme the most far right extreme people and the far left extreme people, the far right extreme people will say, and there are people, I don't know how many, it's pretty insane, there's people that want abortion till after birth. There are people. There might not be a lot of them. There are people. And the far right extreme people will say they're doing that because they're selling them. I'm not saying that. I don't trust any fucking political party. That's fucking stupid to trust any political party. Donald Trump is a rhino. Donald Trump is not a fucking Republican. He has zero allegiance to any party. He's concerned about his own legacy. And now I've pitched it, I think, in an episode. There can't be no abortions. That's fucking insane. Because the far left people will be like, no, all the lefts will be like, Republicans want to ban abortion. No, none of them. That's insane, bro. If you're for, I want to say I even put something on Instagram before, and some fucking guy sent me some fucking religious church shit. I'm like, bro, that's fucking nuts. If you think that a girl that gets fucking raped by her uncle isn't allowed to have an abortion, you're fucking crazy. You're fucking crazy, bro. That's an insane thing. You got no, you should have zero fucking say. Making that fucking girl have to fucking endure that is fucking dumb. There has to be some abortion. And I pitch, as a guy with no kids, I pitch 4 months. After that, no abortions unless there's an emergency to the mother or baby. Comment and tell me I'm right or wrong. Or, not even right or wrong. Tell me that's not a mediation. We're not having either of them. There's not going to be unlimited, no time. They can't have abortions at 9 months because they want it. Just for the fuck of it. Just because, you know what? I don't want it anymore. Fucking there's some health problem. Then that needs to be addressed. But you can't just be fucking out to here and be like, you know what? That you should have to carry to term and give it up for adoption if you want. Now that's me, a guy with no kids. I'm just trying to find some common ground so we can shut that fucking conversation down. And I don't know. I feel like there's more important things than trying to ban it, which is insane. You're dumb. You're gonna lose. Stop throwing those ideas out there because they're never gonna win. But I don't want to hear it. it's dumb. My ex-girlfriend got one and I didn't want her to get it, but like I thought you support it. Not that one from earlier. Later than that. Or more recent. So that's my aim. Okay. Fuck, did she make me laugh and then feel hopeful despite her Trump derangement syndrome, which I understand that people have it. I watched a documentary before that made it look like Casey Anthony didn't kill her kid and her dad did it. That's how good they are at film editing and stuff, I guess. They can get you just so drawn in. They're good at it. Props to them. I think she killed her kid. Alexandr Wang. This guy. This Alexandr Wang went on Theo Von's podcast. He has an AI company. AI is confusing. I've learned a lot about it over the past 5 years because of crypto. I can't do, like, I'm not no engineer. So he went on there and it was interesting. He's young. And what's funny, so I have to dive into Alexandr Wang because he's not like a savant in media. He is their media guy. He's not polished in like a Mark Andreessen. He's not polished going on there. So everybody loves Alexandr Wang. And I'm listening to his story. He goes to MIT, okay? Because math competitions. He goes to, and he seems like a nice kid. He seems like a nice guy, okay? And he's not really socially awkward. But I don't trust somebody that is being propped up on MSNBC as this young genius. And he's smart, obviously. I don't trust who they're putting in front of me. Why are they putting this person in front of me? Because why does everyone hate Elon's 20-year-olds that he has working for him? But they love Alexandr Wang. It's super confusing. I have a lot of looking into it. This is my off my initial watching this thing. That's why the COVID. I want to do like putting these clips and stuff together of COVID. I've been trying to put together, and it's tough. And going over everything because there's so much, and just trying to get the most important type of things, I think. But there's all these podcasts coming out. I just see Magnus Carlsen's on Joe Rogan. I have to watch now. That came out today, and I got to watch something else. Theo Von has Tom Green, and he's a legend, and he lives pretty close to me. So, and then Alexandr Wang, like, I had to watch that because that's important to me, to study this guy. Just like when Peter Thiel went on Rogan. That's an episode to watch back, like, through multiple times to pick up on all these things he's saying. I have so many notes. I got some Alexandr Wang ones in here. When did I watch it? Right here. Right? I only got one note for him because I know that I gotta go look him up. I got a tab open for him. But he mentioned satanic things going on at one part of MIT. I want to know, he was going to MIT and dropped out after a year and started an AI company. Started Scale AI. What was the pitch? I have one tab open and it's initial investors in Scale AI. How did he get all these people on board at 20 fucking what? I don't know. Young. 20 maybe. At 20 years old, how do you get all these investors on board? You say you drop out of MIT and say, hey, I'm gonna start. What did he say? What started it? He saw something. He saw an AI beat Go, which is a board game, kind of a game, like more complicated than chess. He watched a computer beat that, and he's like, I gotta start an AI company apparently. Drops out of MIT, gets this long list of investors I have that I have to, it's gonna take me a bit to go look at all of them and see any dots. That seems like too good to be true, right? He goes from, in this 1 year of AI, or in this 1 year of MIT, his project or whatever is, I can't even 100% remember. Something like figuring out people taking stuff out of the fridge, like roommates taking stuff from the fridge. I don't know what it was. Like, you have to go watch it. I can't remember. It's something to do with that. To all of a sudden, this guy is the youngest billionaire ever in the United States. Doesn't make sense. Now, his parents are super intelligent people. He also, I don't have any notes, and I only watched it a couple days ago or whatever. And his parents are both physicists, I'm pretty sure, from where they did the Manhattan Project. It sounded to me like Alexandr Wang was created. I'm not saying a MK Ultra like I talked about recently was Lee Harvey Oswald, was Sirhan, was Charles Manson, was Jack Rubenstein. Were all these people MK Ultra? I don't know. Do the research, come up with your own assumptions, because what they're telling you isn't the full truth. So Alexandr Wang. They hate Elon Musk because he chose Trump. So Alexander Wang and Bill Gates are the people that they put in the what do you want to call these people, these consumers now? The people that are stuck in the old days that are watching television. There's people stuck in the old days. That's what they are now. You watch TV, you're still living in the old days. I haven't watched television with commercials through like an episode. How long has it been? And maybe I've seen an episode of something, like if I went to my parents or something like that, maybe they're watching that stupid shit. But me, on purpose, like when I'm watching stuff, commercials, 2000, 2007, 2008. You know when I watch commercials? UFC. Okay, besides UFC and basketball, even though it's awesome when you get basketball and you get to stay in it and you get to see the crowd shit and all the court shit. It doesn't go to commercials. Those are dope. Those feeds are dope. But watching television is crazy besides sporting events like UFC, basketball, football, whatever. Maybe you watch women's hockey. I don't know. Not moi. Alexander Wang. Got a lot of research to do on that guy. I don't trust him. My brother mentioned something real that caught my interest. My brother mentioned on one of these episodes last week, maybe last weekend or whatever, that at the end of it he said mentioned the Titanic being. Could the Titanic have been taken out on purpose and not by an iceberg? Or maybe, I don't know if he said not an iceberg. Could it have been taken out on purpose? Because there was 3 people on board that were opposed to central bank in the United States. And then, I don't know. I think I wrote a note about it. But I'm going to look into that. I just have had 0 time because there's so much to look into, and I've got these certain things that come up like all the time, like that they're coming up, like Alexander Wang. Damn, was that super interesting. He's not polished at that media stuff. But he's not super socially awkward like some of them. He seems nice, but he seems created. Watch it and tell me he's not. Is Brigitte Macron Emmanuel Macron's mom? Candace Owens is so funny. I'm listening to an interview. This is where I'll end it. I'm excited about this. There's just so much to look up, you know? I'm listening to an interview with Mark Passio that just dropped recently, and I can't wait to look up more about him after this, because it's been a long time since I heard that name. And very interesting. I mentioned that, something about that guy, or what that guy was involved with earlier in this episode. But this weekend, I'll do this episode with my brother bout with all my clips that I've collected. And with my brother, I'll do that. New UFCs are coming. To Poirier and Makhachev, I believe. Fuck, I'm excited. Alright, deuces.